everybody, how's it going? This is Fandom Empire Live. It's about 8:30 Eastern Time here, just outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm one of your hosts, Sean, and boy, do we have one hell of a fucked up show for you. If you listen to our Star Wars show on Tuesday nights, we speculated that something big might be coming Thursday. I don't think any of us thought we were going to get the groundbreaking news that we got today. But without further ado, let's get to the people that you guys all came to see. First up, and it's already jacked. He's taken up most of the screen. Bear with us. We are working through some bad technical issues today. So sadly, it's just the way Skype wants to be today, and we'll do our best to work through it. First up, he is the co-host of the Rogue Sons of Star Wars podcast, also the co-host of the Imperial Remnant broadcast. It's Kieron. What's happening, man?
Not too much. It was a little crazy day. A lot of kids at the school I work at were like just wired today. I guess they felt the force coming. But man, yeah, I know on Tuesday I said like, it's a conference call, probably nothing. And then at least I'm pleasantly surprised as opposed to expecting craziness and then nothing happened. So
yeah, like I said, I don't think anybody was expecting this. Even our YouTube channel is relatively small, but like the big ones with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, if not millions. I was quickly watching a couple of their stuff as the conference was happening, and they were just like, we didn't know they were basically doing a full-on presentation. Like, that really wasn't even revealed till today. It was just supposed to be an investor's call. But anyway, also joining us from just outside Baltimore, Maryland, he is the co-host of not only Fandom Empire Live, this show, but the co-host of the Imperial Remnant broadcast. Tommy B, what's happening, man?
Hey, wow. What a day. What a day. You know, I started my day by binging Clone Wars Season 7 just for the hell of it. And surprise, surprise, we get that freaking treasure trove of news. Like, we were hoping for tidbits, and we got what may have been the biggest news day of Star Wars history.
Oh, it's not may have. It's the biggest news day of Star Wars history. I don't think there's anything even remotely close to it.
Fan-freaking-tastic. You know, I am psyched to be talking about some of this.
And before we introduce our last guest, I just want to remind everybody that this is going to be a heavy Star Wars show with what has happened today. But we are going to dive deep into, I don't even think the third Spider-Man movie has a name yet, but let's just call it Spider-Man 3, the live-action Spider-Verse. We're going to dive into that, and we're going to dive into Halloween Kills, and it's got a rating and some rumblings out there of what might happen with the marketing moving forward for that movie. We'll get to those two topics after we address Star Wars. But joining us, he is the host of the Intergalactic Peace Coalition, longtime buddy of ours. It's Zach, and I won't give your exact location away, but he's from Texas. What's happening, man?
The reason he won't give it away is because maybe he doesn't remember where I'm from. Oh.
Nah. That would require me forgetting where not only you live, but where Mondo lives, too.
Not like Texas is a big state or anything.
Right?
I was in a relationship one time with a girl who lived in Texas, and I had to drive 9 hours. 9 miles. I wish it was 9 miles. 9 hours on the highway just to get there one way. So,
man.
Yeah, Texas is massive. But I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be back. It's been a while, and to be talking about the things that we're talking about tonight, it's pretty exciting.
It's something that I never thought was going to happen. And like, it's kind of overwhelming, to be honest. Like, Jade's not home tonight. She might be watching this. Who knows? But like, I literally texted her at one point just being like, I'm completely overwhelmed with what's happening right now. Like, I didn't even expect this. So let's dive into this list. And the first thing that we have is it's a live action movie. And we knew the next live action movie was in 2023. and then 2025 and 2027. I still think there's a chance you could see him one in 2024 or even 2026, but those are the dates we know of, the 23, 25, 27 dates. And now we know what the movie's about and who is directing it, which is kind of out of the blue. Most people thought Taika Waititi would be announced as the next one, and his movie was touched on briefly, but it turns out we're getting a Star Wars Rogue Squadron movie, which I'm actually pretty excited about. Big Rogue Squadron fan, and it's going to be directed by the first female cinematic live-action Star Wars director, Patty Jenkins, which is incredible. We haven't heard from Zach in a long time, so Zach, I can't remember if you were high on Wonder Woman or not. It's been forever since we talked about it, but what do you think about this?
It has been a minute, and let me just say, I was a fan of the original Wonder Woman, and I've just been a fan of what they've done with some of the more recent DC stuff like Aquaman, even though Amber Heard's a bitch. But, there's a lot to be hopeful for from that franchise, and I'm really looking forward to 84 and its release at Christmas time. But to have the story that Patty Jenkins told us, in addition to the success that she's had on the screen, like the little video that we got of her talking about her father, who was a fighter pilot. Like, this is something that's very near and dear to her, something that's personal to her. And whenever you have a story that you take that personally, you're always investing a little bit more into it. And she hinted that Star Wars has always been a big part of her life, that she's always been looking for a great fighter pilot story. And, the Rogue Squadron and just X-Wing pilots in general have been part of the Star Wars lore since the 70s and 80s. And so for decades now, we've wanted to explore more of them. We've had books, we've had video games, but to get a live-action feature film is really, really exciting. And I don't think I would want anyone other than Jenkins to be helming this story after hearing what she told us in that little video.
That's awesome that I did read that her dad was a fighter pilot, and that's just like to have that close of a connection with it and to be able to draw off of it. That
Right.
like that's not just a hey, I'm doing it for the money. That's a passion project, and typically when things are a passion project, the best usually comes out of it. I loved reading the Rogue Squadron books. I loved the first two Rogue Squadron video games. I'm totally I prefer the lightsaber battles and all that, but if we're gonna get something that's like over the top Star Wars space battles with Rogue Squadron, sign me up. I think it could be absolutely terrific. Kieron, where are you with this information, man? I know we talked about what we thought was coming a few weeks ago in terms of future Star Wars movies, and I feel very confident in saying the five of us that do the Tuesday show, not one of us had Rogue Squadron as a possibility.
No, I didn't have that at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. I think that it was mentioned that it's a new group of pilots, not based on Rogue Squadron of old.
I would imagine it would be mostly, I'd imagine it'd be mostly new characters.
It wouldn't surprise me, but I mean, just the name that it's attached to.
I think it said specifically that it would be like a new group of Rogue Squadron, which is fine for me, and I like expanding to new characters. But I don't think we're getting we won't be getting a lot of classic characters. Although we could get some guys to make cameos and be older advisors and things like that. But I think we're getting something newer. And yeah, I love Patty Jenkins. I thought Wonder Woman was a tremendous film. It's amazing. I have nothing bad to say about her, and I've heard that everybody loves her too. Like, she's someone that everybody who's worked or loved her too. So also important, and especially when you have a project that you're very passionate about, and you might not have other people pull things off, and your vision as good as you want it. So I think that it's going to be great. I'm excited, and I really enjoy anything to do with piloting. So.
I can't wait. I'm with you. I think it'll be a bunch of new characters, but I do think they'll find, depending on when it takes place, like you can still have Rogue Squadron and have the movie take place post episode 9. Just it could be a new Rogue Squadron. Who knows when it's going to take place? But I think you could probably sneak in a character or two that we know of in there. Like I'm not expecting to see Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing, you know. I could see, you know, Wedge is sort of like the leader, captain, general dude. But I'm just excited.
That was my thought.
I'm excited to have a Star Wars movie that's going to dive back into space battles, because not to shit on the sequel trilogy, Rogue One I thought did good with the space battles we got, even though there wasn't a bunch of them. But what we did get, and once we got to basically the final act, it looked really good. But there's really no space battles in the sequel trilogy. I mean, let's be honest. It's in the atmosphere in Rise of Skywalker, and it's basically Transformers. It's 10,000 of these people versus 10,000 of those people. And in The Last Jedi, we have the bombing scene at the beginning. But it doesn't last very long. And I thought Rogue One did theirs better. I thought the brief space sequences we've seen in The Mandalorian was done sort of old school, and it felt more real. So I'm really excited to see space battles again and have them, you know, not seem like everything's on fast forward and they're over in 2 minutes. You know, that I don't know about you guys. My favorite part of A New Hope is the Death Star attack. You know, as much as I love Obi-Wan and Luke and Vader and all that, it's the Death Star attack. Tommy B, your thoughts, man, on the next Star Wars movie being a Rogue Squadron movie?
I mean, it's out there. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm excited for it. I wasn't as into Rogue Squadron, you know, the old school stuff, as much as other people. I read a few comics here and there. I played the N64 video game and loved the hell out of it. But I don't know what to expect, to be totally honest. Part of me is more excited in this because it's a chance to do something different, I guess. I mean, yeah, we got no idea when it's going to be. I wouldn't bank on it being post episode 9. I'm thinking you got a better shot of it being, you know, during the Galactic Civil War, I would think, somehow, some way. Who knows what that would look like, though. It's something to look forward to. I hope we do get a whole bunch of new characters in there, because those are new characters they can explore later on down the line. If the movie does well, maybe they'll follow it up with another one or two. I think we're away now from that Star Wars movie every year thing. Maybe they got away from that. Don't want to try that anymore. But maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe next year we'll get another announcement saying, oh, actually there is going to be one in, what was it, 2024 or whatever.
2025, which is probably the Taika Waititi film.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm looking forward to it. And it'd also be cool if we could see a return to, you know, more games and such. But I don't know. I feel like they tried to do that with the recent game they did, Squadrons. That's
a whole, you know, another kettle of fish, and that's an EA thing, and you know we were never going to get any information on that stuff today.
Oh, isn't the contract coming to an end though?
It is, but that's a topic for another day. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. Yeah. Quickly, guys, out of 10, your excitement level for Star Wars Rogue Squadron as a cinematic release, Zach?
Oh, probably a 7.5. I'm probably more excited for Jenkins than I am for the plot. There's a lot of other parts of the Star Wars universe that I'd rather like to explore, but hopefully she exceeds my expectations and my excitement is as high as maybe it was for Force Awakens or Rogue One or something. It's honestly been probably 5 or 6 years since I've been like super, super excited for something Star Wars, but I'll admit that today gave me some hope that out of the 10 series and 3 or 4 movies on the way, that I'll be able to get hyped about something. So maybe this will be it.
No, absolutely. I'm right there with you. I'm about an 8, but considering where I ended on the last 2 movies, I'll take the 8 and be happy with it and look forward to a new exciting thing. Kieron, how about you, man? Out of 10?
I think I'm going to start a drinking game where I drink every time you bash the sequels.
Oh man, you'll be wasted in 20
We're
minutes.
gonna go.
20.
We're
I
gonna
think
go
5.
with. We're gonna
It
go
takes a
with
little
an
while
8.
for alcohol to set in.
I'm really excited. I'm happy it's a movie and not a series as well. I'm really excited to see Flying on the Big.
We'll be seeing it together.
What I said, the line is that it's a new group of fighter pilots. So it doesn't say that it's new in any sort of time. You know, we don't know. Could be new but old.
Yeah.
But people we don't know. That's basically all.
I wonder if it'll be set around the time of Mando, because they're working their way to a pretty new big villain in that they drop. So time will tell. Tommy, out of 10, man. Rogue Squadron.
I'm more like, it's Star Wars, it's Rogue Squadron. Those are things for me to get excited about. But I'm more like 6.57. It's too far off. We got a lot more stuff that's, coming to us much sooner. So I'm excited, but I'm not jumping up and down.
I mean, it's 3 years away. I'm kind of excited to, I grew up where you had to wait 3 years for a Star Wars movie, right? Like the prequels and I wasn't alive when the original trilogy came out, but the prequels were all 3 years apart. I seen episode 2 and immediately started fantasizing about episode 3, and it's a journey. And the worst part is when the journey ends and you've seen it and it's over, and you're like, oh, okay, now what? Again, everybody, just bear with us here. We are having all sorts of technical difficulties as we try to work through it. Zach and Tommy are the sizes of mouses, but you will be able to hear them. So let's move on to topic number 2. Taika Waititi. This one surprised me because we already knew that he was doing a film. But with Patty Jenkins getting the 2023 date, we ended up, I think you can assume Waititi's film's not till 2025. Still 5 years away. Zach, were you at all surprised that even though he was previously announced to do a film, that it's going to be that far away?
I think disappointed is probably a better word for it. I was hoping that he'd get the 2023 film, but maybe it just means that he's working on another project, maybe with the MCU or something like that. And that's why he asked to get pushed back or something like that. Like, we don't know the logistical details behind it, so I'm not going to criticize it all that much, but I am kind of bummed because I really enjoyed Ragnarok. I really enjoyed Jojo Rabbit. I think Taika's got a really good creative mindset. He's done well with The Mandalorian. Like, everything that he's put out, regardless of the universe, has been really, really good the last few years. And I guess that means that we have to wait another 5 years before we get to see that put on the big screen, but hopefully it'll be worth the wait.
Indeed. Anybody else want to chime in on the Taika Waititi thing, or can we keep moving forward?
I love him. That's all I can say. I was excited for it. I'm not too upset either. I did think that we were going to get 3 movies. I assumed it was a trilogy, so that's the only thing I can say I'm anything bummed about. But
did anybody see the art while they were talking about Taika's project?
I did.
Like the presentation?
Yeah.
Somebody on Twitter noticed that the block wording, the block lettering for Star Wars resembled the stone lettering from the old school Schoolhouse Rock videos. And I was like, oh, you're right. That's interesting. So maybe it's a bit of a throwback. Maybe it's just some creative licensing, but I like that Taika delves into places of his imagination that may have been forgotten at one point, and he's kind of resurrecting it in his own way. I think that's cool.
Well, as long as he's not going to bring back that rabbit guy from the Boba Fett and Han Solo comics, I'll be happy. I forget what the rabbit's name was, but all right, let's keep moving on here, guys. Ahsoka is getting her own series, which isn't a big surprise. It's been heavily rumored for about the last half a year that it was coming. What is a bit surprising, though, is everybody that I've talked to or seen talk about it or heard talk about it has said that it'd be an ongoing series. And when you look at the actual announcement, it says a limited series. Although when they did the presentation, they didn't call it an event on Disney Plus, which is what they were doing for the other limited series. So I don't know what this is going to be, but I can say that Rosario Dawson absolutely blew me away. It's my favorite episode of The Mandalorian. I can't wait for this. I don't know when we'll get it. Maybe it'll be... I can't see it being in 2021, but who knows? Zach, your thoughts on Ahsoka getting her own live-action show?
I'm excited. That this may be one of the top 2 or 3 things that I'm actually really excited for, because I grew up on Ahsoka, basically. Like when I was watching the Clone Wars in middle school and high school, that was my thing. I had a crush on Ahsoka. I'm not ashamed to admit it. But to see her in live action, and then to see the name drop that she had at the end of the episode, all signs pointed to that potentially being a backdoor pilot, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. And I'm extremely gratified by that, and also really excited to see what they do next. I'm looking forward to what Rosario Dawson can do and what Filoni and company can do to help continue to expand on Ahsoka's storyline.
Absolutely. Kieron, how about you, man? We finally got confirmation that Ahsoka's getting her own show.
I don't know. It was confirmed in my mind already, but so I'm not any more excited for it. As for it possibly being a limited series, I can't imagine Rosario Dawson committing to like a long-term series right now anyway, so it might just be that she said like, well, we'll do it for a year or we'll do it for 2 seasons or whatever. And I mean, she's a big actress. Like she's not someone that wants to be on the silver screen, I don't think, forever either. So, I mean, I can see that maybe they're calling it a limited series now so that they can, not be wrong when it ends. But I thought she was fantastic as Ahsoka, so I'm excited, but I kind of already out of my head it was happening. So
the thing that I found interesting about it is if you look at the title card, and maybe I'm not remembering right because I haven't watched Rebels in forever, I'm pretty sure the artwork behind her name is the same artwork used in the World Between Worlds in Star Wars Rebels. So, which was basically Star Wars dive into time travel and a bunch of other things. So, I don't know if that's going to play into it or not. It would seem it would, though. Tommy, thoughts on Ahsoka confirmed? I know you can be a bit cynical about, me too, about, well, it's not official till it's confirmed, and now it is.
I'm a little concerned about that, little side note, limited series, but maybe not. Ahsoka is one of those characters right now that's, I don't want to say the term up and coming, but one of those characters that's trending, that's hot in the fan base, and a little worried that they're going to use this series as a way to bring the character story to a close. But if it's a limited series, I feel like it might be premature. Out of everything we got, and this is definitely also up there for me, one of those things that I'm really, really looking forward to, hoping it ties back into the overall story of The Mandalorian, and now as we have it called, the Rangers of the New Republic. So I'm really looking forward to it. I just hope that, it's not kept to be so short that it ends up compromising its quality.
I imagine the Ahsoka show is going to continue the search for Thrawn, aka Ezra, as well, which is basically your Rebels sequel series, but in live action. And we know Dave Filoni hinted at that the Ahsoka episode might have taken place before we see her and Sabine go off in search of Ezra. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Only time will tell. But you mentioned the other one, Rangers of the New Republic, which who knows what that means. I'm guessing it's, obviously officials of the New Republic of some sort, whether that means Cara Dune, Cobb Vanth, although he's Tatooine. It seems like we're going to, get almost like a Star Wars police show to an extent. Zach, what were your thoughts on this one? This, by the way, the Ahsoka show, Rangers of the New Republic, and The Mandalorian are all being done by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Oh, we've lost Zach's audio.
Oh, no.
We have no audio from you, Zach. I don't have him on mute either.
Any luck?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. To me, the leadership of Filoni and Favreau is like the one saving grace to this franchise, because as on board as I am with Ahsoka and as on board as I am with Mando, I'm not as on board with this series. I get what they're trying to do. It's basically like a Disney Plus Star Wars version of the Netflix Defenders series. Mm-hmm. Like, the way I see it, Mando's going to be having his own adventures, Ahsoka's going to be having hers, the Rangers are going to be having theirs, and eventually it all culminates in like this big crossover limited edition series like they did with the Defenders a few years back.
Yep.
Everything's going to kind of come to a head, and we're going to assemble our own special unit to try and defeat this big bad. Probably going to be, the person that was name dropped in the Ahsoka episode of Mando. Like, I get where they're going with it, but this will probably end up being like the Iron Fist of the group for me.
I need to know who's involved to have a better idea, right? Like, I'm open to it just because I trust in Filoni and Favreau, but like, is it going to be Bo-Katan? Are we going to follow Bo-Katan and some other people, or will Bo-Katan go with Ahsoka? We know that Katie Sackhoff is signed up for more projects with them. So, I mean, time will have to tell on that one.
If it's announced that Bo-Katan is a part of it, then I'll be a little more on board with it. But if we're just looking at like random outposts and marshals and X-Wing pilots, like you can't run a successful spin-off based on those two X-Wing pilots that rescued Mando from the Ice Spiders. Like, if that's the direction you're trying to go with it, it's not going to work.
No, it's not. The one's from Kim's Convenience, and the other one's Dave Filoni. So,
I was going to say one of them was Filoni. I can't envision him being a regular on-screen character.
Exactly.
He's literally gone on social media and been like, he hates doing it, and Favreau's basically forced him into getting in the suit just to save on costs, which is kind of funny. Kieron, any thoughts on Rangers of the New Republic, or Tommy? Either one of you guys?
I mean, I don't...
Yeah, we'll see what it is, It's not enough info.
I don't know. I mean, Cara Dune's called a marshal, isn't she?
Yeah, same as Cobb Vanth.
Is she called a ranger?
No.
Yeah, okay. Then
not yet.
Not necessarily. I mean, I don't think we have any information on this. It's just... The only thing we can really comment on, in my opinion, is that it's alongside Mando, and it seems like it's going to be, like a Defenders type of thing. I really enjoyed the Defenders, and of course, I didn't like the Iron Fist show, which was awesome that you mentioned that, because I guess not a lot of people like the Iron Fist show, but I don't know. I can't comment on something I have no idea what it's about. I guess I'm just excited that they're going to have another show, something else for me to review.
I thought Iron Fist was shit. So then again, outside of Daredevil and Punisher, I thought they were all shit. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Daredevil. Actually, there's some rumors going on about him. We'll address them in a bit. That brings us to something we've talked about on, one of our shows for the longest time, and that is the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi limited series, which is supposed to be, according to the article that I read, a 6-episode 60 to 90 minute episodes event, which we now know has the tagline straight from Kathleen Kennedy herself, and then again mentioned by Deborah Chow, the rematch of the century. So I know there's people on far more popular Star Wars shows who said there's no way that these two are going to ever fight again, because you have the showdown with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in A New Hope. However, you had a bunch of other people on other Star Wars show going, well, what about when Vader says Obi-Wan once thought as you did in terms of trying to get Anakin to turn from the dark side, and then Obi-Wan telling Luke he's more machine now than man. And now we know it's not just going to be Obi-Wan in the desert. We're about to see Obi-Wan versus Vader, I suppose, part 2, which would make A New Hope the third and final battle between the two. I'm stoked for this. Hayden Christensen's been rumored since, I don't even remember what live event he appeared at. It was sometime last year before the world went to shit. But I'm unbelievably thrilled with this. I just cross my fingers and hope they don't butcher it, because if you're going to do Obi-Wan versus Vader again, and obviously the Death Star battle isn't too much to look at because it was an old man and a bodybuilder in 1976 while they were filming it. And then the episode 3 battle, in my opinion, is the best live action Star Wars battle there is. You got to do something that lives up to it. Zach, what are your thoughts on 1, Hayden Christensen officially casted? 2, we now know there's 6 episodes, apparently between 60 to 90 minutes apiece. And we're getting Obi-Wan versus Vader again.
Oh, man, that's a lot to throw at me in one question. I'll start with the Hayden Christensen returning. It seemed inevitable, but it's a relief to know that is for certain rather than just speculation. For the length of the episodes, I'm really happy and gratified to hear that they're trying to treat it almost like a miniature feature-length type of thing. And then to have it for 6 episodes, it's basically going to be like 2 movies put into one or something, 2 or 3 movies put into one. I'm watching them consecutively. And so all of that is really, really exciting. And like you mentioned, the choreography that's been done on this type of battle before is unprecedented. And so I really hope that they bring back a lot of the choreographers and stunt coordinators that worked on episode 3 in order to make it similar, but not too similar. So all in all, it's just really, really good to hear that this is the direction they're going. And as a Qui-Gon Jinn fan, we have got to have Liam Neeson on this project in some capacity, people. For the love of God.
For sure. I mean, that'd be a huge missed opportunity if they don't do that. Kieron, thoughts on the rematch of the century? I mean, I kind of can't believe they just gave that away, but and I thought maybe Kathleen Kennedy, she has a tendency to misspeak sometimes. And then you read the article that was just published with Entertainment Weekly, and Deborah Chow's like, no, Obi-Wan and Vader are going to face off. Oh, maybe it's something on my end, guys, because now Kieron has no audio. I can't.
Sorry, I actually am muted myself.
Ah!
I had some background noise here. I'm taking it as like an MMA match or a boxing match. They're using the last one, which is the top rated on most people's lists. It's really big, and then you use that to promote another fight. And that seems to me like even the wording. I think that's what they're going for. They're like the fight of the century. That's how they promote boxing matches and MMA matches. We get to see the build up to it, and if it's only 6 episodes, then we don't have to wait a long time for it either. I also would like, how I didn't pop for almost every, like, you're like, oh, they mentioned Thrawn, and I'm like, if anything happens with Liam Neeson coming in, then I will, totally geek out. And I don't normally geek out for almost anything. For bringing Hayden Christensen back, I have no idea why people want this so badly, because people criticized him so much. I'm okay with it, but I don't have I'm not forgetting that he was terrible in those movies. So I don't know why other people do.
I don't think he was terrible at all in Revenge of the Sith. I thought he was very good in Revenge of the Sith. I think if you watch Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith back to back, it's noticeably different, his performance.
So when you told me I was a good actor, it's based on that too?
Read into that what you will. Do you hate sand?
Well, it's coarse.
You know what, though?
It gets everywhere.
I think that's a director thing, too. As much as I love George Lucas, I've seen Hayden Christensen in Jumper. I've seen him in the movie with Nick Cage. I've seen him in the movie Stay, and he was fantastic in all those movies. Someone that looked like he could act, So I'm excited to see Deborah Chow and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and all those people get their hands on him, because for him, obviously it's a paycheck for him and he gets to come back for Star Wars, but he legitimately now has a shot to rejuvenate his career, Put on a good performance and go from there. That said, though, it sounds like they're going to suit him up as Vader in the costume, too. That was the implication given during the stream and in the article. So I'm guessing you're going to see Anakin in some Clone Wars flashbacks, which have been hinted at for a while. And it would make sense to go with Hayden in the costume, just because Ewan and Hayden have so much chemistry in terms of being able to battle and going through that stuff. So, Tommy, Kenobi's finally here, and I know you were skeptical about them facing off against one another. Well, it's happening, my friend. What are your thoughts?
As a correction, when I said earlier I was iffy about it, it wasn't that I didn't believe it. Although I guess it is a little hard to believe. It was that I'm a little concerned about them actually doing it. It's one of those things that the bar is set very, very high. And you just wonder, how's this going to go? Is it better we don't see it? But, that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is, this is something that if you asked us if we were going to ever get, we'd probably say no. And it just got straight up announced on, we'll just start saying, the biggest news day of Star Wars history, which we thought was going to be, tidbits, crumbs. So, I'm pretty hyped for it. Just like everything else. It's, I'm still just sitting here just waiting for me to wake up and then be pissed off. You ever have one of those really good dreams and you just wake up shit. I got to say though, I am very, very, very pleased. I'm very happy that they're bringing Hayden back and that he's just going to get thrown into the suit, as we assume. It's well, if I remember correctly, he did it at the end of Revenge of the Sith. But you were kind of left wondering there. So what would happen if he was in an actual battle, a duel, a battle, whatever? And maybe we'll get to see that now. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like with Kenobi and Vader on screen together. What's the setting going to be? It's not going to be a full on Clone Wars style battle. So what's it going to be?
As much as I love Obi-Wan, I was a bit worried that we were going to get episodes where it's just okay, we're focused on basically only Obi-Wan and you'll sprinkle other characters in there. And we know he was going to be going through some PTSD. And from what I understand, it's actually 8 years. According to the Entertainment Weekly article, it's 8 years, 8 to 9 years after Revenge of the Sith and 10 years before A New Hope. But I wonder now, since Hayden's announced, if we're going to get to see, stuff from Obi-Wan's perspective, but also get to see stuff from Vader's perspective. get in Vader's head a bit aboard a Star Destroyer and, see him with the mask off and getting into his tank. And because he's going through, I don't know if any of you guys have read, I think it's called The Sith Lords. It's a new canon novel by Paul S. Kemp. But that sort of dives into, like, he's really struggling with the idea that he's Darth Vader still and still thinks about Obi-Wan and Padme and what happened. And so I wonder if we'll get some of that. Time will tell, though. They didn't say a date, but I'm assuming there's no chance we get this next year and that we're looking at a 2022 release date for it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even with the stagecraft technology, I don't think you can turn a project that big because they're basically, like you said, Zach, are filming, I don't know if it was you or Kieron, but filming 2 to 3 movies and splitting them into a 6-episode series, basically.
Yep.
So, yeah.
No, I'm still a little, that runtime, still a little concerned about that. We'll see how that actually goes when we get them.
Oh, you mean when they advertise the runtime and then it's like, yeah, we're going to give you 10 episodes of The Mandalorian, 10 one-hour episodes, similar to Game of Thrones, and then you get a bunch of 30-minute episodes that are only 8 of them?
It's going to be 23 minutes? How much was the tragedy? How long was that?
32 minutes with intro, outro, and recap. So, although it was a fun episode, so take it with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, the length will be whatever it needs to be as long as it tells a good story. And because it's a limited series, I do think there's more of a chance you will see it be the actual length that they're talking about rather than seeing some cut short, knowing that you have several more seasons to go. Let's keep the ball rolling, though, guys. Star Wars The Acolyte is a live-action Star Wars show taking place during the end of the High Republic era from a dark side Force user's perspective. I know everybody's jumping to Sith, but we've never had a Star Wars story where we're actually, at least on screen, looking at it from the dark side perspective. Kieron, what are your thoughts on this, man?
I'm really excited that they're taking the High Republic this seriously, which bringing it to screen. I know we had talked about how it might just be books, might just be comics, well, it would be books and comics, but now we know we're getting a show. I'm concerned that they will, I don't know when we're getting this, but I would like it to line up, well with the book series. I wouldn't want to, if the books or comic books are going to go for such a long time, and then we have this show that shows what happens in the end, that would bother me because I like my stories all to be told in the right order. I don't like flashback. I don't want to go and flash back and have the books end up being part of what happens before the series. In fact, I probably would like the books to be over before the series shows up. But other than that, it sounds awesome. I like it. I like I said, I like that they're bringing it to the screen, so that's good. Other than that, same thing. Don't really know very much more. I'm pretty excited about the High Republic altogether.
Zach?
I'm trying to give Tommy B a high five, but he won't reciprocate. I really didn't have a whole lot of expectations for the High Republic to begin with, and so anything that is going to make it to the screens is probably like a welcome surprise. Everything that I had read was kind of seeming to depict mostly books and comics and the like. And so to get something like that is a welcome surprise. And like you said, or maybe Kieron said it, we don't get a whole lot from the Sith perspective or the dark side perspective. And it really kind of reminds me of some of the storytelling that they did in the Legacy of the Force Legends canon books, where there's a whole planet of Sith, and you learn about the Sith culture and their family structure, their lifestyle, their training habits. You basically see that they are a whole people group that just follow a religion other than that of the Jedi. And so I'd be curious to see how they try and normalize dark side users in this series and make them seem like regular people who just follow a different path. I think that would be something interesting and worth looking into.
Basically, I'm excited for this for all the reasons you just stated. I think there's a humanizing element to it, and more often than not, the world's shades of gray. It's not as black and white as people try to make it out to be. So,
well, and I think that's what made things like Daredevil and the Punisher so popular. Is those are characters that are like towing the line between good and bad, and you often wonder how you would behave in certain circumstances like that. And who knows, maybe this Acolyte, whoever they turn out to be, has had some really unfortunate life experiences that led them to choose this particular path, and you end up empathizing with a dark side character. I think that would be really cool to see.
Sorry, I'm going to address this. Guys in the chat that are going on about the vaccine, this isn't the place for that. I got to be honest. I really don't care if you're getting a vaccine or not. I hope you and your family are safe. But this is a chat about Star Wars and eventually Spider-Man and then Halloween. So if you guys can leave the political garbage at home, that'd be great. Thank you. Alrighty. Tommy, did you get a chance to chime in on this? I don't think you have.
Yeah. I think I've shared this concern before. I'm totally cool, very open and receptive to the idea of getting Sith or Dark Side or whatever the hell story. Hey, let's bring Dark Jedi in some way. That'd be interesting. Although I guess that's basically what Inquisitors are. The problem is I've got a bit of skepticism here, like usual, right? And that skepticism is that I can't help but feel they're going to try to make this character end up switching sides eventually. It's going to go the same route we get it with, Starkiller, Galen Merrick. So there's that. It's basically we're going to go with a dark side character, but we're just going to turn them anyway. That's going to be the
Or what if we get a reverse redemption where they actually turn somebody from good to evil?
Oh no.
Oh, where okay, so you're looking at it from like the dark side perspective, and we see a good character go to the dark side, but it's not necessarily perceived to be like Anakin, for example.
Right. It's more like you come to realize that your philosophy and theology is flawed, and you find something else that you would rather turn to. Because, even in A New Hope, they talk about how the Jedi are extinct and you, my friend, are all that's left of their religion. Dark side and light side has a lot of belief-based fundamentals to them. And maybe this person is a light side user and is trying to do good, but they keep hitting unfortunate circumstances, and they're like, even though I'm trying to follow the light, I never seem to get there. Maybe it's time I embrace the darkness, and they become more themselves. They start to feel freer by just following a different philosophy. And I think it'd be interesting to see maybe the Acolyte themselves converting somebody who you thought would be good and helping them realize, oh, maybe there's some benefits to being bad, almost like a Despicable Me or a Wreck-It Ralph type of situation. Like, it's okay to be bad, and here's why.
If I remember correctly, I think they explore that sort of perspective in the, Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi, series.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben Skywalker was very briefly tempted. Not briefly.
He straight up dated a Sith.
Yep.
Yeah, except I don't think they really pursued that very far, and then the canon reset. I was unfortunate. I really like her character, the Star Kai.
Yep. No, she was cool. I liked her.
Yeah. Zach, I also really liked that mini series of the Sith stories. I think they were actually distributed free as PDFs, right? You could probably still find them floating around.
Probably.
Anyway. Yeah, the Acolyte series, though, it's definitely something new. I'm very excited that they're pursuing this High Republic era in, a greater way than just novels or maybe a comic here and there that, 9/10 of the fan base don't read anyway. it's something to really look forward to. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm trying to think. Beyond the Skywalker era, I don't know if we want to call it that or not, prequel through sequel era, this is the first thing in canon we're getting outside of that, right? So,
like on screen?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the first real time jump they're taking, so.
Yeah, at this time, so. And in general, too, right? Beyond Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, that was a game, though, so they never really pursued such a thing in the old canon either.
Yeah,
I don't think anything's canon that's in that era now, right?
No.
No, that's what
Revan. They canonized Revan.
Anything like this.
Revan and then Bane. Both of those guys are canon now.
They're canon, but we don't know anything about them.
Correct. So,
like they could, Revan
be a
could
moisture
end up showing
farmer.
up in the High Republic and be like, "Yeah, I'm only."
You're going to
200
see
years
a death match between Bane and Revan.
I'm Revan, great grandfather of Boba Fett, which we know Kieron would just love. So, oh man! All right, we're gonna approach the rest of this a little differently. They did talk about a droid series or a droid tale. I can't remember what it was called. Lando and Star Wars Visions. We're gonna leave those three topics for Tuesday night, and I'm gonna give you guys the option of talking about one of these. Your choice. Which one do you guys want to talk about? And we don't all have to be in agreement on it. Zach, you want to discuss Star Wars Andor or the Bad Batch, and what your thoughts were on one of those?
Oh man, oh man, I'd probably prefer talking about the Bad Batch. I probably have more to talk about that.
Alrighty, so I'm assuming by now you've seen the little trailers that they had for that.
I have. I mean, only once or twice, but yeah, I've seen it.
What do you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. I did. Like I said earlier, I kind of grew up on the Clone Wars, and so that's kind of like been part of my coming of age. Is like as I'm growing up, I'm watching these characters kind of grow into their personalities and become more than they are. And getting Echo back in season 7 was just extremely gratifying. I changed my Facebook profile picture to Echo's fallen helmet in the series where we thought he died, the Citadel series, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we lost this guy. And so to get him back was really cool. To see the Bad Batch in action was really cool. Seeing some of the encounters that they're going to have and some of the adventures that they're going to face, it's all in the Clone Wars animation style. It's all very familiar, and yet it's going to be completely new adventures. And so I'm really excited to see what this turns into, and I feel like we're going to end up having an Ahsoka crossover in there at some point as well. And so getting Ashley Eckstein back in the saddle and continuing more of Ahsoka Tano's storyline, it's just there's so much potential, and I'm really excited to see how that potential plays out.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm seeing people go off in the chat. It's like, okay, just so we're clear, Thursday nights is Fandom Empire Live. Okay, so that could be, you see these little icons here? See how there's not just Michael Myers, but there's a Darth Vader mask, a Jason mask, Ghostface, Supernatural, Marvel, DC. It's the biggest Star Wars news day in history of Star Wars, so that's what we're talking about. Deal with it. All right. Kieron, what one do you want to talk about, man? Andor or Bad Batch?
I mean, I would rather talk about Andor. Actually, Andor is I can't even explain why, but it's the thing I'm looking forward to most. I don't know. I really like Diego Luna. I mentioned that already to everyone here and on Tuesday. I really enjoy him. I think he's great. I think he definitely has like a passion, the same way we were talking about Patty Jenkins. Like, he definitely really enjoys the fact that he's in a Star Wars universe. And I just think there's so much interesting things to go and tell, because he delivers a few lines in Rogue One that says, like, like I'm okay with all the stuff that I did because was for the rebellion. And then we saw a few things where he definitely wasn't a hero. He was going to kill Galen. He was going to, he did kill that other guy at the start of the movie, or he left him for dead. Yeah.
He killed him.
Did he shoot the guy at the start of Rogue One?
Yeah.
Or did he just leave him for dead?
No, he shot him.
Remember?
He killed him.
Yeah, he shot. Okay, that's what I thought. But there's a lot of things that you can tell there where he could be, he could be why he did something, and he can go and do something that's not heroic. And it's being described as kind of a James Bond espionage type of drama. And I don't know, I'm super excited for it. I actually I'm more excited for that. I think I'm at almost a 9 out of 10 for that. Whereas the other series, I'm kind of wait and see about. So, I don't know. I always like to see Star Wars take on something different. And I'm not always super excited when they go and say, like, hey, we're going to go do the same thing again. And hopefully, hopefully you guys are happy with it. And then the fans are all, yes, we're getting back to this. I like to see it go in new directions, and I like to see different tones, and it just all take place in the Star Wars universe. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this series.
I've been lukewarm on the Cassian series. I've started to convince myself to be more into it, but even though they didn't show us much today, everything they talked about or read in an article or seen did get me a lot more excited for this. And I was really surprised by the episode count. They're doing 12 episodes of this, so that's I found that mildly surprising. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Tommy B, Andor or Bad Batch, man?
I'm sorry, I'm just a little blown away here. I feel extremely old now. I just saw someone graduate from my high school graduating class with a doctorate degree. I feel old. Wow. Life crisis aside, Bad Batch, and that is completely against everything I have said before. I've been calling Bad Batch the series that no one asked for since they announced it, which I think was the day after the arc finished. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Yeah, I've been calling it the series no one asked for, but I just went back today and I binged Clone Wars Season 7, all of it, with a break or two here and there for other stuff that I had to do today. And I'm pretty excited for it. I watched that little teaser, sizzle reel, trailer footage, whatever the hell thing. And I do truly feel like you're going to get a continuation of some elements of the Clone Wars. At least that's what I really hope we're going to get. Obviously, times are changing. Characters are different, and it's going to focus on them. But I feel like I got a little something to look forward to. As far as Andor, I've made that no secret. I've never really cared too much for the character of Cassian Andor. You know how Rogue One starts. He's a shithead. He shoots a friendly within the first 5 minutes of the movie. You see how he acts throughout the movie, and he kind of gets redeemed at the end. So that's cool, but I don't know. I have a hard time being super thrilled about that. So, well,
but you're cool with Sith Lords, right?
What's that, bud?
But you're cool with Sith Lords, right?
What about the Sith Lords?
Well, you're okay when they're assholes.
Yeah, that's because they got big red sticks.
Oh my god!
No, you got a point there, but he's
not
playing
going to
this
touch that.
What?
He said he's not going to touch your stick. Get
I'm
over
not going
it,
to
Tommy.
touch that.
You're not going to touch my stick? Okay.
It's been a long time since anybody touched my stick.
It's Stickgate, everybody. Welcome to Stickgate. Wow. Alrighty. Let's keep the ball rolling then. That's going to do it for Star Wars talk tonight.
It's right next to my stick.
Which I'm sure people will be pleased about. in the chat. But yeah, no, we'll pick up more on this and dissect it even more on Tuesday. I think it's fair to say Tuesday's basically going to be just this, followed by reviewing Chapter 15 and then Death Watch. You know, I don't see how you can cram a top 5 in there or anything else. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, the Imperial Remnant broadcast right here on the Fandom Empire YouTube channel. All right, now moving to Halloween. Nope, just kidding. We're actually moving to Spider-Man. All righty, so...
Oh, you're just going to lose so many viewers from that.
That's fine. People that actually want to be here.
Melissa, Anthony, Saturn, William, they're all like,
no,
Halloween.
Anthony's cool. I like Anthony. So, but yeah. Anyway, Spider-Man. Zach, you and I have talked about Spider-Man movies for years, man. I mean, it's basically official. We're getting our own Spider-Verse movie. And you're going to have Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire all in the same movie. It's just fucking bonkers. How are you feeling about this?
Oh, dude, it's been so cool watching all of these pieces of the puzzle fall into place. Like recognizing who has the potential to help formulate the Sinister Six, seeing how fan reaction to Into the Spider-Verse like sets up the potential for something like this to happen. All of the fan casting where people are like, yeah, you could totally bring back Garfield and Maguire, and people are like, no, you really shouldn't do that. But then the announcement came today that that WandaVision is going to tie into the Doctor Strange movie, which we already knew, but then we also found out that the Doctor Strange movie is going to tie into Spider-Man 3. If you're going to have that multiverse crossover type of thing happening in the WandaVision / Doctor Strange component, it stands to reason that you're also going to get that facet in the Spider-Man movie. Sam Raimi being involved in the Doctor Strange film totally makes sense now. All the different casting announcements that have been placed so far, it totally makes sense now. And just to see all of these different things finally like coming together, and then the further speculation about how that multiverse is going to help Tom Holland transition into Sony's cinematic universe. Like, everything is just becoming so much more coherent now, and it feels so gratifying. Like, this is probably the first superhero movie that I've been like super jazzed about watching since Infinity War, and before that it was like Guardians of the Galaxy before I had this much excitement level for a superhero movie. I am ready for this movie.
The only thing I'm worried about, man, is like there's obviously so many moving pieces in this movie, like a shit ton. I don't want them to have the runtime, like standard Spider-Man runtime's around 2 hours. If the movie needs to be 2 hours and 45 minutes to fit in everything you need to do, then extend the runtime. Don't Rise of Skywalker us to sit in a formula when the movie needed to be an hour longer than what it actually was. Kieron just can't stand it when I use that as an example. Star Wars movies, except for The Last Jedi, I'll give The Last Jedi this, is they broke formula. They went out and made the movie longer than what your typical Star Wars movie is. Most Star Wars movies come in around 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes. I want to say The Last Jedi was like 2 hours and 36 or 2 hours and 40 minutes. I want to see them like have a proper runtime where everybody, gets their due in the movie. There's a lot of moving pieces in this. I've heard that either this movie is actually going to be a Sinister Six movie, like you were kind of alluding to, Zach, just from villains from multiple multiverses, I guess. Or this movie could be paving the way to the Sinister Six movie, which would be the next one.
Oh, dude, they've already got like 4 or 5 of the 6 already announced to be a part of this film or lined up to be part of this film. I mean, you've got Alfred Molina, you've got Michael Keaton, You've got Jamie Foxx. They introduced the Scorpion character in the post-credit scene of Spider-Man Homecoming. That's like 4 or 5 of a potential Sinister Six right there. All you need is like one more person, and you've got it rounded out. And yeah, because you've got Jamie Foxx from the Garfield universe, and you've got Alfred Molina from the Maguire universe. You've got Keaton from the Holland universe. This is a multiverse Sinister Six movie. I guarantee it, because they touched base on the potential of a multiverse with Far From Home. And now we're going to actually see it realized in the sequel. And that justifies why you're bringing in people like Garfield and Maguire, because the villains from these universes are making an impact on Holland's universe. This is a crossover of villains and a crossover of heroes to try and save basically all of humanity. And I think it's so out there. It's just about might work.
It's crazy. Like I wasn't the biggest fan of Avengers Endgame, but I loved Infinity War, and I remember the hype about going to see Infinity War, and this feels like Infinity War again. Yes. Only I love Spider-Man. I love more than the rest of the Marvel characters. Spider-Man and Punisher are my 1-2 for Marvel characters, and now we actually have rumored. It was Discussing Film, and someone else put out there this week that apparently Charlie Cox and Kingpin may be in the movie as well. So if they're going,
oh my god,
if they're going that big, and if you remember in the comics and in the animated series, Kingpin had something to do with the Sinister Six as well. He was sort of like the head honcho boss. This could just be like, shit, I'm having a fandom orgasm right now.
Shoot, dude. I mean, that's the other thing, is you could technically place the stuff that happened in the Netflix series in another universe. That's the beauty of the multiverse, is all of a sudden you've got the potential to bring everybody from these different franchises into one film and make it all work just by saying they're from parallel universes, other universes, whatever. And you could totally bring in Vincent D'Onofrio as that 6th part of the Sinister Six, and it would totally work, because you've got some of the finest acting talent from each of the best of these different Spider-Man franchises coming together into one film. Think about it. If somebody told you that Jamie Foxx, Michael Keaton, like all of these different people were going to be involved in a movie, not just a Spider-Man movie, but if they were to tell you that, oh yeah, we also got Vincent D'Onofrio as the villain. Oh yeah, we also got Andrew Garfield reprising a role that he had previously. Like, you don't even have to say Spider-Man. You just drop some of these actors' names, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm in.
The only thing they could do to like even push me over the top is if they're like, yeah, by the way, Willem Dafoe's going to be in it. Then I'd just be like, all right, there it is. Ooh. There's the last of the Sinister Six. Oh, man, I'd be so good with that.
I'd settle for Franco. Bring Franco back, buddy.
Oh, I love Franco, but I feel like he wouldn't be a villain, depending on when they brought him back. I mean, in Multiverse, I guess they could bring him back while he's still, a bad guy. I do like James Franco, but Willem Dafoe as a villain, oh, my God, so good. So good. Kieron, any thoughts on this Spider-Man orgasm event that's happening, basically? My goodness, if you're a comic book fan, this is spectacular stuff.
The amazing part is that everything seems to line up so well. I always thought that if they were going to make a Sinister Six movie, which has been, in the works for 10 or 15 years now, that how are they going to fit so many people's arcs in, and how are they going to get all these characters over? And it blew my mind that they were going to try and do this, and then they got the perfect solution. We'll just grab them from all the other movies. We've already seen all their stories. Yeah. We already know how Electro. We already know what happens with Dr. Octopus. We don't have to show that stuff. Like, you can go back and watch them on Disney Plus, or I don't know. I don't know which Spider-Man movies are on Disney Plus, but you can go back and watch all the stories if they have people. If they bring in Charlie Cox, like everybody knows already. It's, it was a very big, successful series, so everybody already knows where Daredevil comes from. So they can do this, and just like amazing how that lines up. Bringing back the Spider-Man, all three Spider-Mans is amazing, because no matter who you are, like, I feel like it was so divided over who liked which movies. And I know there are a lot of people that were like, well, why didn't they just make Spider-Man 4 with Raimi, which a lot of people were excited about. And there's a lot of information about what would have happened if he brought out Spider-Man 4. And a lot of people have no idea why the Garfield ones even got discontinued, because they obviously set up a lot of things. And it's just all ties up amazingly, as if they planned it from the beginning, which they obviously didn't. But like, it lines up so well. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I really hope that they bring in the Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio, or De whatever.
Yep.
How do you say his name?
I think you got it, D'Onofrio.
Okay, that's what I thought. But I really hope they bring in his Kingpin, because it's just fantastic. Like, really. And I know in the Spider-Man cartoon, he was crucial in bringing the Sinister Six together, but I don't think in the comics. I don't even know if he was in it in the comics. But anyways, they also have Doctor Strange kind of taking over as Peter Parker's mentor now that Stark is gone. And we've known for a long time now that the Doctor Strange movie was going to be called The Multiverse of Madness. And we got that kind of joke about there being a multiverse in the previous Spider-Man movie. And it just seems everything has been lining up as if it's been planned, when really a lot of it is just coincidental. And yeah, I'm absolutely, like, I'm not a really big Spider-Man guy, but I am pretty excited about this. Like, probably more excited than any of the Spider-Man or any of the Star Wars news, but the Star Wars news is also very, like, it's going to take a while for me to take all that in. So
it is.
Yeah, very excited about the Spider-Man, and I really can't see any negative. I would really love if they didn't announce the sixth member of the Sinister Six, and then they just popped up a trailer with the Green Goblin mask, and it was Willem Dafoe. Would just be, that would be crazy too. That would be, I feel like you saved that though. I feel like you might as well save that till there's a trailer.
He plays he's so good at playing a dick. Oh man, he's
good at playing
his face is
everything.
shaped like one. What do you expect?
And he was great in Aquaman too. I was expecting him to be a dick in that movie, but he really wasn't. So, Tommy, any thoughts on this just Spider-Man madness? You're muted.
Oh, well, I hit it, but it didn't unmute me. That sucks. Nah, I don't have much to contribute. I haven't seen most of the new Spider-Man stuff. It's on the to-do list, just like a billion other things. It's cool, though. Sounds cool based off of the little I understand. So, something to look forward to.
You unmuted for that?
Fuck off.
Tommy. Wow. It does make me wonder if there's too many moving pieces for one movie. And I would hope they're not bringing everybody back for, oh, hey, I'm in it for 60 seconds and I'm gone. That would suck. I'm not expecting, Maguire and Garfield to play main roles, but, I'd like to see them in the movie for, 10, 20, 30 minutes apiece, and not one scene and done. So I kind of wonder if this one will end on a cliffhanger to set up, a following movie. Because we do know that Tom Holland, what was his new deal? I believe he had 2 or 3 movies left in the can, so... although, if it's 2, then I guess you would have this one and then the Doctor Strange movie. So, assuming that they tie over with one another.
I'm wondering, how are they going to get Tobey Maguire to cry in this one? Like, who's gonna upset him so much that he has to cry?
I don't know. All right, guys, let's shift gears. Finally, to Halloween. No, I'm just kidding. We're actually going to talk about Transformers. No, I'm kidding. We're not talking Transformers. We're going to talk Halloween.
What is there to talk about Transformers?
I have no idea. No idea. Oh, I do want to quickly touch on, though, a Lion King prequel. I think that's interesting. I read an article, and it basically sounds like it's going to follow the story of Mufasa and Scar, which could be interesting. It could give a new take to that. So,
have they ever done that before?
No, they have not.
I don't think they have. No.
The only backstory that we really have on Scar comes from the canonized novel, in which it's revealed that before he got his scar, his name was Taka, which in Swahili means trash. So his name was literally Trash.
Did you just make that up?
No. Why would I make up stuff about my favorite series?
There's a novel of the Lion King?
Yes, look it up. And then the other tidbit of information that we have is that before he tried to take over the Pride Lands, Scar was actually the leader of a group of lions that protected the Pride Lands, known as the Lion Guard. So he had leadership responsibilities according to the Disney TV show, but he abused those powers and had those powers taken away from him according to the show.
Interesting. I wonder if they'll get into any of that. And it'll be curious to see. That one's probably a far way out from now.
I would doubt it.
No, it's all non-canon now. It's no longer canon. They're going to do a timeline reset.
Oh my God. Fuck off, Tommy. All right.
Multiverse. That's Scar in another universe.
Let's dive into it here. Halloween Kills finally received its rating, which shockingly is rated R. Like, nobody knew that was going to happen. The thing I find interesting about this, though, is there was some legitimate concern, and I can vouch for this, that it might be too graphic for even an R rating. So I'm wondering if they had, and if you've read the script, you can definitely see why. There's a couple of scenes that make you go, ooh, that's a bit much. It makes me wonder, and Tommy, I know you've read the script, if they had to trim anything out of it. And I can't help but think that I wouldn't be surprised considering, I mean, there's a big difference between reading words on paper and visually seeing everything in context with music and visuals and the blood and gore. I do believe some of the things that we read are going to be toned down a bit. Because there was a lot of concern that it wouldn't even hit the R rating, and obviously you need to do that. You can't have a rating worse than R, or you're not going to make any money. Just thoughts on the R rating at all, Tommy? And I know it's been a while since you've read it, but there's a few scenes in that movie that are questionable.
Yeah, and I know exactly which scenes they are. Honestly, you just got me thinking. I don't know if we do anything over R in theaters generally. Zach, I think you're more of a theater, visitor than me. Maybe you can chime in on that when you get a chance. But for me, when I thought of that, it was just like, oh, that's news, because having read the script, having just talked about this song, it being Halloween, it's kind of like, oh, well, of course. So it wasn't really news for me. It was kind of just a confirmation. And I'm really curious. Do we have movies in a rating in the U.S. that's over R? Do they even let them be in theaters?
Yeah, but you've got to really, really screen the people that go into it, because
what is it? Is it just straight up pornography or what?
Most of the time it's X-rated for very graphic sex scenes. Yeah. But yeah, that's what the rating above R would be, is it would be X-rated, but very rarely would it be X-rated for the gore and the violence that something like Halloween Kills would be. It would more be of pornographic content. Yeah.
I think, like I see some people in the chat going, well, I think I know what scene would be cut. I don't think anything's getting cut altogether. I think it's, the editing process and how it's displayed and how it's shown on screen. Like, Halloween Kills is, from what we've read, extremely graphic. Like, when you compare it to every other Halloween movie, including Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 Shitfest, it's right up there, if not worse. So I was really worried about them getting down to an R and how much it's going to be trimmed. At the end of the day, everything you read on paper isn't necessarily going to be on the screen. But there's a couple of sequences in that movie where you go, it would sort of lose its effect if they trim it too much. But I mean, these are issues every horror movie faces if they're trying to walk that tightrope of going too far to not going far enough. We've been mentioning for months that Halloween Kills has a flashback in it where we go back to 1978, and it's going to feel like the 1978 movie. So you'll get the 1978 mood and atmosphere there. However, the rest of the movie, guys, it's not like 1978. It's not like Halloween 2018. It's a tick up. They're I don't want to say they're reinventing the wheel or anything, but they wanted to do something different, something a little more out there, and they definitely did, and they were able to get their R rating, which at the end of the day is not groundbreaking news. But if you've been watching this channel long enough, you know that we covered this before, that, hey, there's a couple of sequences that might have to get severely trimmed in order to fit that. Kieron, just curious, man, when you watch a horror movie, and you're fairly new to horror, do you prefer suspense or blood and gore or a good mixture of both?
I prefer suspense, definitely. One of the things I enjoy about the Halloween movies, or at least the ones that feature this, is just like having Michael be somewhere and no one knows he's there. Having, the camera angles that show that he's actually in the next room. I think those things are more like specifically Halloween than having, him like cut someone open with a knife and see all the innards and weird stuff, and like all that sort of stuff is not, it doesn't scream Halloween signature to me. I think it's all about imagination. I'm scared of things when I think that, like, how would I react in that way? I'm not particularly into gore. I feel like they could pull it off. Any sort of scene they can pull off just based on the angles and based on what they're showing. But yeah, I'm definitely much more of a thriller suspense person than a, like, let's just show this gory stuff just for the sake of, like, what is that?
I mean, everyone has their own preferences and how it's presented, and I know blood and gore never bothered me growing up. It was always the suspense that got me more, because it's like the anticipation. You're waiting, and then it finally comes out at you. What about you, Zach? You more of a suspense guy or a blood and gore guy?
I was hoping you would ask me that, because I am one of those few people that fits into neither category. When it comes to horror, I can really only sit through the stuff that is made terribly on purpose.
No.
You and I have discussed this movie before, my friend.
God.
My favorite horror movie of all time is a little ditty called Zombies. And it is one of the most god-awful productions you have ever seen in your entire life. And everything else pales in comparison compared to the glory that is Zombies. And it has a sequel, too, so it's an entire franchise now. However, I will admit, I met a contender earlier this week for Cheese Fest USA, a little production that was made literally on a $3,000 college grant called Llamageddon. It's about an alien llama that lands outside of a farm and there just happens to be a college party happening there, and this alien llama that shoots red lasers out of its eyes just wreaks havoc on this college party and kills everyone except for the dad that comes to rescue them at the end of the film. So when it comes to horror, that's the stuff that I watch.
Oh,
However,
man.
However, I did see Halloween 2018, and I am going to be seeing Halloween Kills. I do enjoy those, but after seeing things that are my opinion on horror as a genre is just very skewed compared to most people.
How did I know that having you on the show somehow, some way was going to result in that god-awful, horrific mess, zombies being brought up? Never fails. Never, ever fails.
You brought this on yourself, my friend. That's what you get for having me on.
Man.
Guess what, folks? You're not going to be seeing me for another 3 months.
We'll see you next week.
Spoilers.
Tommy B, man, suspense or gore?
Suspense. If you want to know what really gets me, it's not seeing, someone's head get chopped the fuck off. It's not the gut got busted open. It's seeing grotesque imagery following a sustained period of suspense, or creatures or what have you. Stuff like that is what gets to me. It's not so much freaky imagery. Although I will tell you, growing up, there were a few images. You see, it's all about the gore or whatever that got to me. I think one of them that stuck to me it was the head game stuff. It wasn't even all that scary of a movie. And I talk about this sometimes. It was from Cabin Fever. For some reason, that one got to me. I don't know why. It's just one of those things,
Yeah, like I said earlier, suspense for me gets it. I don't know. There's something about the build-up, thinking that you're being watched, but you're not sure. You definitely get that in Halloween Kills. Don't think that Halloween Kills is just like a gore fest, because you go back to 1978 where Michael really is the boogeyman and he's stalking and he's that, predator of sorts. And you get a bit of that in the current timeline too, but the violence does get extreme, and right from the point where he escapes, without getting into details, it really sets the pace of what you can expect for the rest of the film. And actually, that's one of the scenes I'm worried about that they might sort of cut down a bit. Hopefully not, though. So I've seen a lot of speculating online, or a lot of people that have no idea what the hell they're talking about, go on about, well, they're in so much trouble because they've already spent their marketing budget on Halloween Kills, and they already marketed it so much. And it's like, it was on a Facebook group, a very well populated Facebook group, but it's like, it really killed me, because it was like, they haven't marketed the movie at all. Like, wake the fuck up. The movie has not been marketed. They've literally only marketed it on their own announcement and on their own stream. They've not had any outside marketing done. And from what I've heard, you're not going to have a heavy marketing campaign for Halloween Kills until much later into 2021, because nobody really knows what the movie theater industry is going to look like. Like, make no mistake, what Disney Plus did today and what HBO Max is doing and what Netflix is doing, these are all harmful to the movie theater industry. This last year has been extremely harmful to the movie theater industry. There's a reason why Christopher Nolan and Legendary are threatening to sue HBO Max, or whoever is it Comcast that owns them? No, not Comcast. Warner, I think owns them. Warner. So just so we're clear, no, the marketing campaign for Halloween Kills has not started yet. And the last that I heard, you're looking at May or June before they get into anything even remotely significant, just so you have a better idea of where things stand. In terms of the release plan, though, and let me know if this makes sense to you guys, the movie's coming out in 2021. You know, it's not a big budget movie. While it is the biggest budget Blumhouse has ever had for a movie that they've done, you're not delaying the movie again. There's already spoilers everywhere. There'll be more spoilers. The further this thing gets along, you've already had certain things leak, and that stuff will continue. You know, loose lips sink ships. This movie's coming out in October 2021 on what will probably be a limited theatrical release, and 14 to 17 days later, maybe even sooner than that, if the industry keeps evolving, you could see it released simultaneously on VOD at this point. I mean, look what HBO Max is doing. So who knows what they decide, but I can assure you, and I can bet, and I've seen you guys going off on the chat, this movie's not getting delayed till 2022. It's not like they put $200 million in this movie and they need to make, $300 million to get a good profit from it. This was a $30 million movie minus the $7 million rebate they got from shooting in North Carolina. So it's a $23 million movie. That is small time, very small time still. And they don't need to make, $250 million. Do they want to? Sure. But at the end of the day, the movie's coming out. And there's probably going to be a lot of other movies that come out. Guys, if I'm being honest, I was surprised that Black Widow said it was keeping its theatrical release for next year. I just assumed, because it's been ready for so long, that Disney Plus was going to be like, oh, yeah, by the way, to go along with Wonder Woman that HBO Max is doing, we're going to drop Black Widow on Christmas and sort of go head-to-head, but they didn't do that. Your guys' general thoughts here on, would they delay the movie again, and does it make sense to delay heavy marketing for this movie until we have a clearer picture of what's going on with society? Zach? Oh, I think Zach might be frozen.
I didn't hear you pass it to me. I'm sorry. My connection crapped out a little bit there.
Oh, I was just saying, one, do you think it makes sense to delay marketing till May, June, even July of next year until they have a better idea of what society looks like and what's going on with the pandemic? And do you think no matter what that it's going to come out in 2021?
I'll answer the second question first. I definitely think it's coming out in 2021. I'm with you that making a movie on $23 million, you're definitely going to break even and then some, even with limited release. So it's just a matter of how much marketing you want to put into it. At the way that the internet is able to share things so virally, I just think if you're just releasing a couple of teasers here and a little bit of promo art there and maybe the occasional poster in the theaters that are open, like, you can do minimal marketing and still have a maximum impact, especially from groups like Fandom Empire that are just spreading the word organically. Like, there's tons of potential for the word to get out enough for them to turn a profit. And the best time to do that would be in October of 2021. I would assume we have a vaccine by then, and I'm not going to get political, but I'm assuming things will be somewhat safer than the way they were in October of 2020. So it stands to reason that would be the best time for them to try and do something like that. Pushing it back to 2022, at that point, you might as well just put it on demand and let people stream it from home.
I'm totally with you with that. Kieron, how about you, man? Same question.
I mean, it's funny, being a fairly new horror fan, and the biggest part of my horror fandom being Halloween, which is a lot thanks to you, but I'm seeing that the fan base is like, I feel like the fan base knows for sure. And it's not like a Marvel movie or something where you're trying to pick up as many casual fans as possible. Like, I'm sure they know who they're marketing to, and they're going to hope to pick up other people with, some awesome trailers and things like that. But, they're making a film for a very specific fan base. They're going to know when it's going to come out, and they're probably going to see it no matter what it comes out on. If they have to stay at home, if some people have to stay at home, I'm sure they're going to be pretty excited to see it when it comes out. I don't think it's going to get delayed. And yeah, that is a really small budget for a movie that they know they have fans for, and it's part of a big series. So yeah, I'm pretty much on page with you guys. I don't see why it would be delayed. And some movies have to take advantage of like the fact that they don't really need a bunch of casual fans to make their money back, or to follow the movies that they want to put out. There's got to be something. Like I went to go see New Mutants in theater when there was only allowed like 10 people in a theater or something like that.
Same.
And or I don't know, it was every sixth seat was able to be sold. And I don't know if I would have saw that movie in theater otherwise. But I was like, okay, well, there's not really anything. I'm actually mildly interested in this movie, which in terms of COVID, I was super excited for the movie because it's a movie I had to go see. So, I mean, I can't see it being delayed. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, I mean, they can't. It would take, not to say that the pandemic isn't a massive tragedy, because it is, but like it would take something just freaking almost like Armageddon to stop this movie from coming out in 2021. Oh my God.
What's that movie called?
It's Zombies.
Is that what the movie's called?
Okay, so the one I watched earlier this week was called Llamageddon, like the animal, llama. And then the other one is called Zombies, and it's made by the same people who did the Sharknado movies.
Man.
Gonna have to check that out.
I'm pretty sure they're both on Amazon Prime. So,
Got that.
Nick Gilchrist says, Sean, people are saying SWAT should be involved in Ends. What do you think about that? I can't really answer that without spoiling what happens in Kills, but I do have a Halloween Ends video. It's a pre-produced video that I recorded last night or the night before, and that's going to come out either Saturday or Sunday. So look for that on the channel. I think it's 9 minutes long. And it's a bit of an update on what the filming plan is for Halloween Ends. Tommy, finish us off here, man. Do you think there's any chance this movie doesn't come out in 2021? Does it make sense to not market it until almost summer?
We've been having back and forth going on through the chat all night about this. And honestly, based off of everything we know, everything we have, all the indicators, we have absolutely no reason to believe why this movie is going to get delayed beyond 2021. Even if they didn't want to do a theatrical release, and we have no indicators for this, so do not parrot me over this. I'm just saying, I'm more inclined to believe they'll pursue alternative release means or limited release means or whatever before they let this movie go another year. They don't want to wait forever. So no one wants to wait forever.
No, movies have a shelf life too. They absolutely do. It's just the way the industry works. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it for this episode of Fandom Empire Live. Before we go, I just want to let you know what's happening over the next week. Sunday night, well, not right here, but to our Patreon subscribers, we will be doing the Fandom Empire Underground over on Patreon and showing you some images from Haddonfield the Vanished. Maybe even a clip. We'll see. Don't count on the clip, but some images at the very least of the little project that we have coming. That's Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so look forward to that. And then on Tuesday, we have the Imperial Remnant broadcast with Tommy, Kieran, myself, Johnny, and Thaden, where we'll dive into, December the 10th, a day which will be long remembered in Star Wars history. And then on Thursday, a week from today, so everybody that's yelling at us to get straight to the Halloween talk, I'm going to warn you now, there's probably not going to be much Halloween talk next Thursday, because we're going to talk about Care Bears for 90 minutes. No, we're not talking about Care Bears. Next weekend, next Thursday, guys, on Fandom Empire Live, we're going to be doing basically a Fandom Empire Christmas party, where 8 or 9 of us will be on here having a fucking blast, and we're all going to be giving our top 10 Christmas movie lists. It's probably going to be like a 3-hour stream, lots of back and forth. I'm sure people have some drinks going. It's going to be a really fun night. That is next Thursday. What's the date on Thursday anyways? Is that December the 17th? Yeah, December the 17th. And then on December the 22nd, we will have our last episode of the Imperial Remnant broadcast for 2021. And then on Wednesday, December 23rd, I believe at 8:30 p.m., we're going to have Dave McRae over here on the channel, and Dave and I and possibly a couple others are going to sit down and geek out about Halloween and a bunch of other shit and talk It's Me, Billy, Haddonfield the Vanished, and so much more. That is December the 23rd, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Look forward to that. But for Tommy and Kieron and Zach, I just want to thank you guys for being a part of this tonight. It was a lot of fun. Trimmed it a little bit short. We could have gotten even deeper at risk of causing a riot on the Star Wars talk. Zach, man, it's been far too long. Where can everybody find you at, man?
It's been a minute, so I'm excited to be coming back on such a quick turnaround next week. Looking forward to having more fun with you guys. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm mostly doing stuff over at the IPC Podcast right now. Just look for IPC Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It is how it sounds. And then on my personals, probably the best place to find me would be on my Twitter page at Zach the Voice, ZACH the Voice, all one word. We're getting ready to do some local high school football playoffs starting tomorrow night. Hopefully we make a little bit of a run at it, but that's kind of what I do on my side gig, trying to do some sport broadcasts. So if any of you are just interested in hearing my voice in some other capacity, then yeah, tune into that tomorrow night. And otherwise, just follow the podcast for our movie reviews. IPC just did a review of a couple of episodes of Mandalorian in one episode, and that turned into like a 3-hour-long discussion. It was super fun.
It can get carried away really quickly. We can vouch for that. Yep. You know what we need to do is we need to do an episode of RIPC soon, and have like a shot night where we see something in a movie or something, and it's shot time, and see how fucking crazy it gets.
I finish my school for the semester on Monday night, and then I'm off for like a month. So
nice.
let's for sure plan on something like that. I love that idea.
Let's do it up. So, alrighty, Tommy B, where can everybody find you at, man?
Catch me, hang around Facebook, all of our groups and pages. Check out Fandom Empire Den, the channel's official Facebook group. All you Halloween fans out there, if you're not already on the Future of Halloween Facebook group, go on over and check it out. And if you want to catch me on other platforms, you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at TommyB1650.
Kieron, where can everybody find you at, man?
You can find me at Rogue Sons of Star Wars Podcast. You can find me here, and I'm really excited for you guys to find me here on the Christmas show. I'm super excited about that, especially for anyone to see any pics or possibly even a little bit of footage is like absolutely super exciting for me. The ones that I've seen that you've shown me are all amazing. And I'm happy to talk to not only you, but also some of my castmates and other people on the channel. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I hope everyone tunes into that.
Yeah, just so we're clear, though, the pics of Haddonfield the Vanished would be on the Patreon show on Sunday, not on the Christmas show. Now, I see what you did there, trying to just give it away for free. Fandom Empire Underground, Sunday night. And you don't need to be a subscriber to the highest tier either on Patreon to be a part of that show. Fandom Empire Underground is all tiers, so feel free to check us out on Patreon, www.patreon.com/FandomEmpire. And you can also check us out on Twitter, at FandomEmpireNow, at StarWarsIRB. On Instagram, it's FandomEmpireNow and StarWarsIRB. And then on Facebook, the page is Fandom Empire, Halloween Kills 2020, Supernatural Revisited, and the Future of Halloween group. Before we say bon voyage for the night, though, I just want to plug a couple of things for people that deserve some plugging. I know for the longest time, a lot of people were going to Making Star Wars and Star Wars Underworld and Star Wars Newsnet for their Star Wars news. But I'm telling you, if you're wondering where we got some of the Star Wars scoops from over the last few weeks, how we've been able to be on top of things, it's been the guys at Fantha Tracks. It's been the guys on Nerd Theory, which is Star Wars Theory and Den of Nerds. And it's been the guys at Kessel Runs Transmission, who all deserve their due for being really on top of this, even before the main media trades were. So check all those guys out. They're all on YouTube. Den of Nerds, Star Wars Theory, Kessel Runs Transmission, and Fantha Tracks. And also our chat mod, one of them anyway, Frank Riker, him and Darren Sands have a fantastic show out called or a podcast, pardon me, called the Slaughtered Lamb. Is it movie podcast or podcast? I'm butchering this now.
Yes.
Frank, help us out, man, in the chat. I'm having a brain fart. Is it the Slaughtered Lamb podcast or Slaughtered Lamb movie podcast? I feel like it's the Slaughtered Lamb movie podcast. I'm going to pull it up here on my phone because I feel like an idiot for misquoting it. Alrighty, let's have a look here. It's the Slaughtered Lamb movie podcast. I was right the first time. Look at that. Sometimes you should trust your gut instinct. Frank and Darren are fantastic. The chemistry's off the charts. I did not listen to Escape from New York, boys, because I haven't seen the movie yet. So once I do see the movie, I will tune into that one. They're doing great shit over there. For Tommy, Kieron, Zach, Toronto Freddy, chat mod, Frank Riker, chat mod, I'm Sean. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody. Hey, we talked Halloween. Look at that.